आप सभी को मेरा हाथ जोड़ के नमस्ते। जैसे सर ने बताया, मेरा नाम गौरव शर्मा है। आई एम द फाउंडर ऑफ पॉजिटिव थॉट्स कंसल्टिंग एंड ट्रेनिंग सॉल्यूशंस, गाजियाबाद, उत्तर प्रदेश। What I do and who I am, I'm a salesman. What I do, I sell happiness.
Good, very good.
I sell happiness. And that's the most important key. Because we are lacking behind this happiness. We are lacking behind this adversity quotient. हर किसी को सक्सेस चाहिए, फेलियर के बारे में बात ही नहीं करनी। कौन करेगा बाद में देखेंगे। Today, I want to talk about the psychology and few things about one particular topic to all the parents, teachers, and every educator who are working with the children. Start practicing wow. Start practicing wow. The way we talk to our children become their inner voices. The way we talk about them become their life stories. So start practicing wow. What is wow? Start telling your children that you are worthy. I will not define you by your grades, numbers, or marks. Start telling your children that you are original. I will not compare to with anyone. I will accept you as you are. And last, start welcoming your kids. I will welcome you the way you are, and I will give you an emotionally safe space to grow. So it's my humble request to all of you, start practicing wow, because today we are here. I would like to extend my extreme gratitude towards the organizers of this International Education Summit and Award, Blueberry International Group, and all the eminent government bodies. I would like to congratulate and thank you to all of you, because after almost a year we are gathering for this noble cause, education, because education itself is a very noble cause. We are all dealing with kids, children, so we need to start practicing wow. And on the ending note, मुझे बहुत दो अच्छे कोट याद आ रहे हैं बच्चों के लिए. Prepare the roots so that you don't need to repair the fruits. And prepare the child for the road, not the road for the child. Thank you so much.
Very good.
Thank you very much. Very warm welcome to everyone who is here today, and indeed I'm glad to be invited to be one of the panelists here. I chair the board of Vidya Bharati School. We are a school from nursery to 12th class in Delhi, based in Rohini. I will take us back to, you discussed majorly about how we should look after our children. I will take you back to the school dynamics, how we look after our children, especially post-COVID. I'm saying post-COVID with crossed fingers because we don't know what the future holds right now for us. As a school, a lot of schools have prepared various guidelines, and a lot of Delhi schools are open. We are open from 9th to 12th class. So we have our children within the premises. We've put up standard operating procedures to ensure the children are back to school and safe. Not just children, my staff, my faculty, my ground staff as well, class 5 staff, which how we denominate them in our schools. I will give you a live example of how we've done it rather than giving you just an idea of what the standard operating procedures were. We were recently selected to be part of the Republic Day Parade, which presumably I am sure all of you watched. So my students were present at Rajpath, performing in front of the Prime Minister and various dignitaries from around the world, watching on the television, because I understand it's live telecast in over 200 countries. From day one of the selection process, to the day the children were actually performing, the guidelines from the government and the school were extremely strict. First hurdle that as a school we need to jump through was convincing our parents. Convincing, I think one of the panelists recently said, our parents are extremely scared. There is a lot of information, a lot of misinformation in the news, in the paper, in our WhatsApp groups. I think that's the major way of how we communicate with each other now, WhatsApp groups. So to convince the parent to send their 50, 90 odd children back to school, first having sessions, orientations, we are no longer doing this body language communication which I am doing with you right now. You're able to see how I'm communicating. So 93% of that communication that we used through our body language was completely lost. Not just with my parents, but with my students as well. to convince those 90 students to come back into the school, to follow those guidelines from the moment that phone call was made to the parent, say we are selected, would you be happy to send your child? Would you be happy for us to look after your child from morning, 7 o'clock in the morning till say 5 o'clock in the evening? Those are the times that we were talking about. Even late nights, 12 o'clock reporting, making sure the food was safe, making sure our meal kitchens were safe, making sure my maids were clean and COVID tested on a regular basis. To have them perform there was a major Herculean task. So convincing the parents, we need to convince the parents to get back those 90 children to the school. And now, entire student population needs to get back into the school. Because we are losing a lot, the students are losing a lot, the children are losing a lot. A lot of things, the first community that a child is introduced to outside of their house is the school. That is where they develop their first interpersonal skills, they develop negotiating. From a nursery caste child, a lot of children come to school, I'm sure a lot of educationists, but they're not even potty trained. So that is what we do, and that is peer learning. That peer child learning, oh he can go, I can't, so that's what is being lost. Children are losing so much by staying at home. Ma'am, I'm sure you know what summer learning camp is. Between those 1 or 2 months of summer vacations that we had, children completely forgot what they've learned. From April to May, it becomes zero. So we go back into the school in June and it's revision. First 1 month is precisely revision of what we've done.
One minute. What do you teach? What they forgot? You said they forgot during the summer vacation.
Yes.
So what did you teach them?
We have a curriculum as a syllabus. I'll get back to it as well. The curriculum, the syllabus is what they forget. And I am quite interested in actually addressing your questions, sir. So I'll get back to you in just a second. So we have this summer learning gap. And when the children come, we revise, revisit. And that's what we do. Rather than going through this line of thought, I will come to what sir has asked me. Children forget because we are not doing experiential learning in the schools. We are not integrated out learning. We are not doing joyful learning. We are not doing happiness curriculum. That's why children are losing. And NEP, folks, a lot of people have said how teachers are fundamental to this new education policy. And I am quite stringent believer that it is very important that teachers are fundamental part of it, and that we have to reinvest and invest in teachers to be able to deliver the NEP. Without the teachers being on board to deliver the NEP guidelines, we will not succeed. And that is one fundamental aspect that we as school managements, as teachers, as educators, as facilitators need to put our mark on right now. I have a lot of teaching faculty. Not everyone is going to do that 4-year course and come to my school. I already have 60-odd teachers who are not trained in this ideology. Saying that these ideologies are part of B.Ed course already. However, how B.Ed is taught is through rote learning. So teachers will not learn experiential learning because they have not been taught in B.Ed courses. The first time a teacher comes to my school, I think we spend a year training. Simply training her. She is not given a class. She is a support staff. We have a concept called open classrooms, where our existing teachers are teaching and the new faculty is given that room to observe, to note, to take up, and that is peer appraisal, peer learning. So that is again fundamental part of teaching our teachers how to teach, because B.Ed course as it is currently is rote learning. It is not experiential learning. Ma'am, you agree with
Yes.
And that is what they are learning at the B.Ed courses. They are not learning how to teach. They are learning how to replicate that rote learning methodology. So teachers need to be reinvested in. And NEP does provide for 50 hours of CPT, continuous professional development, but that continuous professional development needs to be very well thought about from the school's perspective. Every school works differently. My school may be academically inclined. Another school may be of differently abled learners, maybe more musically inclined, maybe more art inclined. Every school's ideology is different, and we need to make sure that teachers learn. And teachers can only learn that if teachers have autonomy to teach. A lot of times we are taking that autonomy back from the teachers by giving them that syllabus, by giving that curriculum. So we need to bring that autonomy back to the teachers where they are given the right to drive the learning within their classrooms. And a lot of us said, what is a teacher? And one quote of William Ward, like you ended with a quote, let me end with a quote, really resonates me, which is a mediocre teacher tells, this is what we were doing past, a good teacher explains, a superior teacher demonstrates, and a great teacher inspires. So what I need in my schools, what we all need in our schools, is teachers who are inspired. And that is the job of current educators, to inspire those teachers to be better at what they are doing. And that is possible. That is not an impossible task. This whole COVID-19 has taught us that nothing is impossible right now. So thank you very much, and I hope I have addressed some part of your question there. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Prashanti Gowda. I'm from Karnataka, Bangalore. So today, many of them we have already discussed about the topic, and we have got many good informations that we can inculcate in our daily school life, which we can tell our students regarding that. So today I would like to pass on few information regarding the topic. What are all the safety measures that we can take when the school are going to reopen? In Karnataka, already the government has given an instruction. We have already started the schooling from the month of Jan 4th. It's been almost more than a month. So as we all know, there are 3 safety important measures which each and every one of us following. That is safe distancing, wearing the mask, and sanitizing the hands. These are all the 3 important measures that we are carrying out in everyday life. But when it comes to the education department, when the kids come back to the school, how far the kids or the children are going to follow it? Yes, as many of them they said, we are also following lots of sanitization program, cleaning, everything is going on. At the same time, we need to develop, including hygiene. We are giving much more importance for hygiene. At the same time, I truly believe that developing an immune power in students or children is also very important. For example, I just wanted to give an example. I was just going to school every day. My husband will drop me. So I saw few kids on the road without mask. They were playing. No sanitization. So then I asked him, see how the parents have left them. So we need to be really very careful. So the next answer what he said is, see, that is the immune power what they are having. That is the immunity power. For example, when we talk about the government schools, how far the parents are educated, how far the parents are going to develop that hygiene or going to teach them. So when the school started, I especially conducted a program for all of my students called as health advocacy. Including the hygiene information, we gave them the details about the diet, how to get immune yourself. I strongly believe 40% of hygiene plus 60% of immune power, 100% make a children to fight against the disease. That is how we have to, along with the hygiene. It means that along with the hygiene, we need to teach the students about the immune power, how to develop it, how the diet should be carried out. So the next thing is, as I work as a principal in one of a state syllabus school, and the name of the school is Rainbow International School. My management also runs one more school, the name is National Public School. So there are 2 differences in between, one is CBSE and mine is a state syllabus. There's a lot of difference between the CBSE students and also the state students. As I said we gave lots of information for the students regarding hygiene and also regarding the immune power. At the same time, when they go to the school, when they go home, I don't think so whatever we have taught them at the school, they're going to follow it. So at the same time, we need to educate the parents also how they have to maintain the hygiene and how the immune power need to be developed in the students. So I hope I think these are all the measures we can take. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to talk a few words over here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
My heartfelt greetings to Dr. Radheshyamji, today's Honorable Chief Guest, and all the eminent personalities, the educationists present in today's ceremony. I am Meenakshi Narula, Principal Shamford Futuristic K-12 School, Aurelia. I am a teacher, not by chance, but by choice. In line with your thoughts, sir, I am also a firm believer that children, they are given to us for a very short period of time. They come to us just like packets of seeds. We do not know about their potential, how will they look like, how will they act like. We are unaware about them, their learning styles and all. But our job is like the gardener, to nourish them with love, care and attention. Till when? Until they bloom into fragrant flowers. This is the job of a teacher. And during this unprecedented times, March 2020, when everything was under lockdown, this was a challenge for all of us. How to preserve the learning continuity for our students. It was a great challenge for all of us. This all created a psychological pressure on not only on students but teachers and the management too. But maybe some of us ignored about the stress on the parents. The parents who had, you think, maybe 2 or 3 children, and they were not having the devices to continue the learning journey on this online mode as well. 3 children at home and just 1 smartphone available, no laptops with a child. So it was very difficult for all of us. I would not be talking about some of the things like we have to do. I was just sharing my experience, like as a pedagogical leader, what I did for my staff, what I did for my students, what I did to reach the unreached. None of my staff had a laptop to continue the online classes. Now that time I came forward. I provided all of my staff members all the PCs that were available in the school computer lab. My teachers, they were not aware how to use the devices, how to continue with the online classes. You see, doctor's job is not only to diagnose what exactly the problem is. A good doctor is the one who gives a medicine to cure the disease, and along with that, the doctor also advises certain precautions to be taken. You see, the effect of the medicine becomes ineffective when those precautions are not taken. So there was a lot of stress on me also to handle this situation. It was not possible for me to force my teachers to go for various trainings and all. Nowadays, you see, when people are getting jobless, most of the schools, they are deducting the salaries of the teachers because they are not getting the fee also from the parents. That time, I took a decision. I just offered extra amount to my teachers to continue the teaching, and I provided extra amount for the internet facility along with the salary. So though I was also not getting that, but this is actually the real empowerment. Like, it's not about like giving the right to the teachers to decide or maybe give some kind of suggestions. Empowerment financially as well. I sponsored them for various workshops. I myself attended more than 1,000 workshops during this pandemic, the short-term courses, Cambridge programs, IB programs, more than 250 CBSE sessions I have attended to empower myself first. Only then I would be able to guide my staff, my teachers. So there was a lot of stress on all of them. It was very difficult for us. I told you 3 students in a home, and moreover, there was a lot of transition also that we all ignored. Transition from childhood to adolescence. A lot of changes in the children. It was very difficult for the parents. Children, they were not having any peer group to share what all changes they are observing in themselves. Hormonal changes inside, and due to COVID, lockdown, they cannot go outside, no outdoor activity at all. So it was very difficult. I, myself as a parent, also have seen this change in my children at home. So I could realize what is going on with the parents. We organized various webinars for stress management, dealing the adolescents, talking about puberty issues and all. So we provided free counseling sessions online to all the parents to handle the queries of the children as well. As we are talking about this NEP also, we have already started working on it. We have had number of sessions on various forms of art integration, whether it's music, art, dance, drama, whatever it is, we have started doing. And my teachers who were not able to use the technology, today they all are Microsoft innovator educators, and they are using 25 plus digital tools to engage the learners. They are ready for accepting, even they have started using this various forms of NEP. So this is how we are coming forward, how we are taking the challenges. And here I certainly would like to say, destiny is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. It is not the thing to be waited for, but the thing to be achieved. And we have achieved it. Still, I would like to say, miles to go before I sleep. And I here on this platform salute, hats off to all my teachers, to the team who came forward in making this learning possible, in continuing this learning journey with innovative strategies. So this is what I wish everybody all the very best, taking up the challenges that we are going to face when we will be reopening our schools. And as my school is in Uttar Pradesh, we have already reopened the school from 6 onwards, taking all the precautions. Sanitization twice a day, and enough have been talked about, everybody has shared about all those things, and we all have been taken care of. Thank you very much for the wonderful platform. I would like to say thank you to Blueberry International Group. Thank you, sir. The wonderful.
Namaskar and good afternoon, Honorable Minister and all the esteemed panelists, all the distinguished colleagues who've come in here. My name is Tarandeep Singh. Just to let you know, we are not a school. I am the marketing director for Kidzania India. A lot of people would know about Kidzania. Those who don't, our entire team is here. We can help you with what it is. I am not here to sell Kidzania. I have a lot of certifications in marketing, and I'm a part of a lot of seminars and programs with respect to marketing. But whenever I come to an educational event, I always get very emotional. Because for us, we've lived by that saying, which everybody knows is God could not be there everywhere. So He created parents. So He created mothers. But what we've always learned, parents could not be there everywhere. So teachers were created. So that's how important teaching has been as a profession for us growing up. And we at Kidzania, we are an edutainment theme park, like most of you know. We work very closely with teachers. We work very closely with all the pedagogical functions to get fun and learning into the activities. I cannot comment on the education here. Okay, these are very qualified people to talk on the education. What I will quickly share in 5 minutes is what we are doing towards the safety. So we have 2 theme parks in India, one in Bombay and one in Noida. We have 29 globally. Luckily, there are 16 Kidzanias which are already functioning across the globe. So we've handpicked a lot of best practices from there. They've been open since a very long time. We had 2 new launches during pandemic. In Southeast Asia, we opened one, and just before pandemic, we had launched one property in US. So what we've done is try to incorporate the best of features from all these Kidzanias, also revisit what other schools are doing, and get our safety measures in place. So we will be reopening our doors by first week of March. And what we've done is, nothing new with whatever you spoke, ma'am, but we categorize 2 different areas. So one is foremost our collaborators. So we are first trying to get our house in place. So right from getting their COVID tests done at certain level of days, to how will they be traveling, to having daily checks, to having a doctor daily to check upon all the collaborators. So that is something which we start with. And on the other side are our visitors, parents, kids. So there we are taking care with all the sanitization measures. We will have daily disinfection of the full facility, 1 lakh square feet. Most of you know we have more than 100 role plays, so they can be a doctor. So that hospital will be cleaned after every cycle. So we are taking all those measures. We are going to avoid uniforms. So that was a big call, because in role play, the biggest thrill is as a doctor when you wear, the doctor's attire, you wear that hat. But again, we have to be dynamic. We have to make these changes and adapt. So that is something also what we are doing. For us, safety has been always important. So even our air conditioning was always being third-party audited. So what is the temperature control? What is the ingredients which is moving in the internal circulation? So we have third-party audits even before COVID. So we've always been very careful because we've been dealing with kids, and that is where we will be constantly upping our game. So that is something which we will be doing with our visitors, and I'm thrilled to be here because I even met my Delhi colleagues after a lot. It's been a year. And what we are also working is for birthday parties and now school visits. They have planned exclusive ships. So for example, let's say you just want to book the entire Kidzania. So you have an option. So you can book it for a 3-hour, 5-hour slot, and okay, it's only your group. So you have much more controlled environment. So I will not waste your time, and I'd once again like to thank everyone for being here. It's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone, and I'm sure we all, especially all of you, love education. That's the reason you're here. I'm really happy and thrilled to be here amongst educationalists. Thank you for inspiring us. I still remember my early teachers, why they punished me. That time it was all gussa aata tha, but now we've learned, and thank you so very much to each and everyone. Thank you. And thank you, Ashwini. So Delhi comes back, the 5th edition we had at Kidzania Delhi NCR, a property in Noida. And since we are opening, I hope next time we can welcome all of you back at Kidzania.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Taranji. Thank you so much. Please.
Lastly, I just need to tell you one thing, because this corona ने हमें बहुत कुछ सिखाया है. अगर मैं normally connect करना चाहूँ, आपसे बात करना चाहूँ, we have experienced new things. It's a new normal world. मैम just mentioned कि उनके staff को digitally इतना awareness नहीं था, how to take Zoom sessions, how to teach digitally, how to use the other apps or other things, right? So that's the reason. One more quotation here: choosing the right decision at right point of time is the most important key to success. Now, what is the time in this? The major thing is time. Things I must earn. उस फेज में मैं कुछ सीखूं. Time is thinking, innovation, motivation, education. कोरोना आया, सब कुछ बंद हो गया, जनता कर्फ्यू किसी ने नहीं सोचा था लाइफ में. Buy smart, but हुआ. हम लोग घर में थे. अब क्या करें? Now think out of the box. Any other option? कुछ नहीं आता. Now it's time to innovate the things. Innovate. अब दुनिया बोलेगी आपके बस की नहीं है. They are going to demotivate you. Now it's time to self-motivate it. Now educate yourself according to your mission. So choose your time very wisely. It is the most important key to success. And success से पहले failure आता है, failure से पहले experience आता है, experience से पहले learning आती है, और learning के लिए वो ignition होना चाहिए अंदर से, आग, वो positive aura, because environment really matters. जैसा आपका environment होता है, आपका behavior वैसा develop होता जाता है. जैसा आपका बिहेवियर होगा, आपका कैपेबिलिटीज वैसे बिल्डअप होते हैं. आपकी कैपेबिलिटीज से आपकी वैल्यूज, आपके प्रिंसिपल्स बनते हैं, और जैसी वैल्यूज आपकी होती है, आपकी आइडेंटिटी वैसी बनती चली जाती है, बी इट बी पॉजिटिव, बी इट बी नेगेटिव. और जैसी आपकी छवि, आपका रूप, आपकी आइडेंटिटी होती है, आप उसी लेवल पे जाओगे. अगर आपके मिशन से आप चूक रहे हो, आपको वो चीज नहीं, गोल हासिल नहीं हो रहा, चीज नहीं कर पा रहे हो, दो चीजों पे ध्यान देना. वन इज एनवायरमेंट. अगर एनवायरमेंट इज ओके, योर बिहेवियर इज नॉट ओके. दो चीजों पे ध्यान देना. थैंक यू ऑल, बिकॉज इट्स अ जर्नी दैट हैज मेड ऑल द डिफरेंस. माय नेम इज गौरव शर्मा. आई एम अ मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर. आई एम अ सर्टिफाइड लाइफ एंड न्यूरो लिंग्विस्टिक प्रोग्रामिंग कोच and approved training from the American Board of Neuro Linguistic Programming. I am a certified parenting coach, all the 3 levels: toddlers, middle schoolers, and teenagers. I am a certified mental health coach and a certified mind trainer. International certified career coach from USA London certification. I am the part of World Book of Records. I have participated in India's largest career guidance digital conference, as well as one more conference that would be for psychology. And thank you so much, Ashwini sir, and the organizers of all organizers of Blueberry International Group. Thank you so much sir कि आप मणिपुर से यहाँ पर आए हैं हम सबके लिए. ये हमारा प्लेजर